Hey y'all, it's me, Niecy Lynn. I hope you're having a great week. This is a YouTube channel about cross-stitching and needlework. If you haven't been here before, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoy it. We show things we're working on. I show things I've finished. We talk about fabrics and floss and different things. So it just kind of covers the whole range of what you might want to do or are doing. We have questions usually at the first, so I do have a few this week, and I'll jump right in with those. Carol Riffin had contacted me asking about working with Ada, if Ada was okay. Ada's great. I work on Ada a lot of times still because it's easy to see, it's easy to work on in the car because you're not crossing over two spaces, you're just crossing over one. So it's real easy to stay on if you're on a plane or in the car, or if you have a hard time seeing, or if you just like the look of Ada. Some things I stitch, I just like the look of Ada. It's kind of a coarser, maybe especially if you like something kind of rustic. You can use it. I used it for that big snowman piece I did a couple years ago, and I showed the pattern last week on Flosstube 10. This is Flosstube 11, I think. Yes, this is Flosstube 11. Wow, that went by fast. And I showed the pattern last week for him. I did him over 2 on 14 count, so he actually came out to 7 squares per inch. And I took 6 strands of floss, but he worked out really nice, and I love him, still love him, use him all the time. So there is nothing wrong with Ada. If you're trying to decide how much fabric, it'll normally say on the pattern, especially in a lot of the magazines, it'll say the design is XX size by 2x4 or something like this. But you can just take your pattern and do the math, you know, by 14, divide by 14 like this to see. Anyway, there's cross stitch calculators you can use that for, and it'll give you the number, and they just add 4 to 6 inches on either side, depending on how much you need to finish it. I, a lot of times, don't leave that much. If I know how I'm gonna finish it, I don't need that much extra. But if I don't, I leave myself extra space, because if I want to have a bigger edge on either side of my design, or if I want to sew it, I don't need as much space because I usually squeeze in pretty tight to my design. Well, I'll tell you what, we can look at these. I got 2 previous finishes here. This is Easter Parade by Blackbird Designs. Both of these are out of that book. I know they have reprinted it. Someone was super sweet and lent it to me in 2015, because I have my initials and everything on here. And the frame busted on this one on the way over here on when we moved. So here he is, and I hope he will focus in. But I had a big frame around him and a big mat here, but when the glass broke, it cut the mat. So I will either just run some ribbon, or I may just have the mat recut, because I had little pansies like I was painted on the side, so of the mat that I painted on there. So that is Easter Parade. It is a great seasonal piece for this time of year. It's beautiful, the colors, it's called for colors. It's probably on called for linen too. I got this at the Stitch Niche, so I'm sure all LNSs probably carry these, but I'll show you on the back. I had a big piece, because if you're gonna lace it, you do need a big piece. I'm not a good lacer, obviously. I now usually do the Priscilla Vonna method, or I think Vonna does it too, Priscilla does it, where I just glue on the back with my Aleene's fabric glue. It won't damage. You could undo it. I probably would never, but this is back when I laced, and it took me forever, and it made me lose my religion to do it. But because I had a big frame, let's see if I can grab him here, and so he went in here, and then there was the yellow mat all around, but this side was wider, and I'd painted pansies on it right there, but it got cut. So if you're framing it, you'll need more fabric than if you're just going to finish it off yourself in a flat fold, or if you're gonna sew it into a finish. And then this is the other piece out of Easter Parade here. And I don't know if I can get him in here good. He is the little bunny, called for fabrics, called for threads. He is on linen, which I don't stitch on a ton because it's floppy, and that's hard for me when because I stitch in hand. So it's a little harder because it flops over. But if you stitch on even weave like a Monaco, it is got more heft to it and it's easier to stitch in hand. So he has some fancy stitches in here somewhere. Some little eyelet stitches on his body, you can see there maybe. But he is been reprinted, so he's available at your LNS or any of the shops online. Down Sunshine Lane, I'm sure carries it. 123 Stitch, any of those. But your LNS, of course, try to get it there first if you can. And that it just stitches up so cute. I've been using him for several years now. Oh, he has eyelet. Does he have eyelets around the edge? No, just on his little body. I thought there was another specialty stitch on here, but I can't remember what it is or find it. But he really is super cute. I think Deborah Liz, one of them on Country Stitchers, is stitching him right now. And he is just so cute. So those are previous finishes. And like I said, if you're gonna frame him, you'll need more fabric. So if you're just starting out, add 4 inches, add 6 inches. You can cut it off and make it into a bookmark or something if you can't just stand to toss it. But if you don't have enough, then you're really gonna be in trouble, because then you're gonna have to try to either alter the design or you're gonna have to add fabric on, and that gets a little dicey. So just for the sake of ease, add yourself 4 to 6 inches when you first start until you decide how you like to finish, how you want to sew yours on, what you like to do, and then you'll know. But you can't, it can't add hardly. It's really hard to add on. So just add those 4 to 6 inches off your design size and go from there. That way you will have enough. And here is a question for everybody out there. Susan Bajek, one of my watchers, stitched a design. It was she said it was in Leisure Arts magazine in 84, 85. She stitched it for her son and it's got lost. She wants to restitch it. She can't find it. So she said it was a little boy with a scarf and a dog on a sled. If any of y'all have those magazines, can get a hand on it, know what design it is, if y'all will drop in the comments. I told her I'd ask on here. I didn't find it when I was looking for my Cut From a Pattern I Love piece last week. I didn't find it, I didn't see it, but I wasn't looking for it either, so I might have just, passed right on by it. So if any of y'all know what it is, drop me a comment and I will let Susan know. This is a great community for helping each other out, and so if any of y'all have a line on that, holler. Kelly Pruitt is super sweet. Everybody's always saying such nice things about my hair on here, and I do appreciate it. I kind of need a trim right now. It's very funny that y'all give me all these comments on my hair, because growing up, my uncle, and I do have, he called it ought to be hair. I have ought to be hair. Ought to be on a goat's ass and not a girl's head. That's what he would say about my hair, and it's truth. It's kind of straight, and then I have this one section back here that's kind of wavy, kinky. Some people in my family have wavy, kinky hair, and so he always said I have ought to be hair, ought to be on a goat's ass, not a girl's head. So thank y'all for the comments on my hair, because I'm not used to getting them. My hair has been an issue my whole life. I wish I had a picture. My sister's hair, and it's like this front part is like super, it's like I have a ton of it, but it's like real fine. My sister has a lot more body in hers. Hers is like my patch back there that's wavy curly. Hers is like that all over her head. It wasn't wavy curly when we were kids, it was just coarser. So my mama would grow her hair out, let her wear her hair long. But they would say back in the day that, if you cut your hair short, it'll make it thicker. It'll make your hair thicker. And my aunt was a hairdresser, my grandma was a hairdresser. And so they always cut my hair, always wore it short, cutting a pixie. And so one day my mama was on the phone and I decided to fix my sister's hair like my hair. And my daddy, which I do not know why, most people, use like little mustache scissors like this, have little tiny mustache scissors. My daddy's mustache scissors were about yay long, and they were solid steel, like they were solid metal. They didn't have plastic handles or anything. The whole thing was, and they came to a point on the end, you could have easily killed somebody with them, easily. They were just like 2 knives with the handles on them. My mama's talking on the phone. You know, back in the day when your phone was stuck on the wall, you know, you had to stay in there with it. She was in the kitchen on the phone. So I decide I want to fix my sister's hair like mine. So I stand her on the toilet and I stand on the bathtub, the side of the bathtub, with these big, giant scissors. And you know, I'm whacking. And I just traced all where her hair started growing, right around her head, just like this, which looked pretty much like my pixie cut. But then I should be really rich and famous now because I was the first person ever to texturize. Because this would have had to have been, my sister was born in 1970. This was probably 1972, 73. I just took random pieces and just cut it right down to the scalp. I'm serious, this long. How? Well, Jesus takes care of fools and babies, and that'll tell you the truth right there, because there we were, two foolish babies with them scissors on the side of the bathtub. You know how wide the side of your bathtub is? There I am with these big scissors, telling my sister to turn so I can keep cutting. And then I take her in there to show her off. When I'm done, my mama just drops the phone. She's talking away and she just plunk. Because of course we had pictures at Olin Mills the next day. You know, back in the day when everybody went to Olin Mills to get your family photos made. So somewhere, I will see, I wish I had one. I'll see if I can find it and show y'all my sister's good haircut that I gave her. It looked a lot like this, y'all. I mean, the bangs were a little short, but you know, that's kind of in. You know, those kind of aggressive looking bangs, that's kind of in right now, even very European. So, you know, I should be rich and famous and like, I guess, making hairdos, but I don't have no hair skills. I guess that scared them out of me right there, my mama, because I got in bad trouble, y'all. Bad trouble. And in the grace of God, my sister is still alive and has both her eyes and ears. I wish I could find them big scary scissors too. Goodness. But, sorry, I got rabbit hole there. Viv in Australia, the book we were talking, so thank you, Kelly Pruitt too. In Australia, Charting My Needle Art Legacy, a guided needlework journal. That was the exact name of the book that she had told me about and that I'm looking for. I got to get it and look at it. I also wanted to tell y'all, Amy loves toads. I love Amy. Hey, Amy. She did, you know, you have a piece sometimes you're working on and you don't like it. You know, you put it, because like people put, if you have a bunch of things going, I guess sometimes especially you don't want to go back to it. She had one that had little squares and it was like a 4 grid and it was probably going to be about this big when it was done. She didn't want to finish it and she took, and the 2 that were completely finished, she cut out and made these little pillows, and they are so pretty, y'all. They look like tiny little oil paintings. They are beautiful. It's like a little dragonfly. It is, but y'all switch on over there, her last video, and you'll see these little tiny pillows that she made instead of trashing the whole piece or making herself finish the other half that she didn't have done that she didn't want to stitch. She just made these 2 little pillows. They are so adorable. And that's such a great idea. I thought that was a genius idea. Amy and I loved it. I loved the way they looked. Shelly I'm gonna holler her out again at Just Stitching Inc. She has been doing Freebie February. So if you're looking for some charts that are free charts from the designers, switch over there, and she's showing different things that are free this month. This whole month she's been doing Freebie February. So that really is cool. So I want to be sure and mention that because I know a lot of times right now there's not a lot of available money at first of the year especially. So that's an option for your stitching if, sorry y'all, if you don't want to or can't afford to buy charts right now or for whatever reason. She's showing so many cute things. So switch on over there. I will jump on into whips here. I started on this guy because I'd finished up my spring ABCs. I'm gonna show him y'all in a minute. And I thought I'd start on this. I've had it in my stash for a long time, Breath of Spring by Blackbird Designs. And it's just like a little pin pillow or something. So cute. And I dug in my stash and I thought, okay, I'll just use something I have. Well, it is evidently 36 count and I am having the hardest time seeing it, even with my magnifier glasses. So I didn't get much done on it. I'll get it finished, but I have to work on it just a little bit at a time before my eyes just go like, nope, not happening. It's a beautiful piece of fabric, and I had picked this colors because it's got numerous colors in it. I picked these colors for it just looks super springy, and I was so excited about it, but I can't see it good enough. So it's gonna get worked on piecemeal, a little bit at a time, because I can't get it done. They did it, it's a lot more prim looking, and I wanted it just to be a little bit more fun. The grandbabies love it when there's a lot of colors. So it is Breath of Spring by Blackbird Designs. It's a Reward of Merit pincushion. It says, I assume it's still available. I've had it, like I said, for a while. James got it for me for Christmas a couple years ago. He picked out some patterns he thought were cute and surprised me with them, which was super nice. But he is a really good gifter like that. So James Williams gives good presents. So that one I am working on, but I had to set it down. I can't work on it very long without my eyes just going, nope, not happening. So I also had Easter Peep Parade, which I was gonna do next. So I went ahead and started on it. Easter Peep Parade by Brenda Gervais. It's super cute. I think Priscilla showed it last week in her video. Maybe she said it was the brown fabric that she dyed. I didn't want to do mine on the brown. So this is some blue fabric that I had over dyed with just some camel, and it was looking a little blockier than I wanted. I dunked it in the pool. Yeah, I know, y'all laugh. But it kind of faded out the edges of the color so much. So it's just got some dark blotches on it, and it made it be not quite so bright. So I'm switching all the colors up. They're not really called for at all, but the little purple egg and then the little flecks, and it'll be brown. And I've started on the little, I guess the wagon part, the harness part of the wagon there. But it is stitching up really fast. I love this. It's just some blue even weave. I think I got it Hobby Lobby, and I put it in some tan, and like I said, it was looking, I don't like for the color to have a lot of the really harsh lines, and I'd like it on Halloween stitching some, but for some reason that looks really harsh to me, so I don't like it a lot on things that are like springier or smoother or something. But I do like some color variation, some mottling sometimes. So when it was looking too much, I probably could have just rinsed it, but when I walked outside with it, I looked at it and thought, oh, it's a little harsher than I want. So I just dunked it down in the pool and then just wringed it out and hung it up to dry. But it worked. But I am loving it. I'm loving I wanted the little purple egg. Kimi and Aria tell me all the time their favorite colors, and Aria's favorite color is purple. She loves purple. So I thought I'd do a purple egg, and that would make her super happy. They're at the beach right now with their mom and daddy. They needed some nice weather time, so they've loaded up and gone to the beach. And she texted me this morning that they've already gone to H-E-B and lost the dog and found the dog. Lord have mercy. I went over there and played with the cats for a while yesterday, but sounds like they're having a wild time down in Corpus. So this is Easter Peep Parade, and it is on 28 count blue even weave that I over dyed with Rit tan dye. And then so far the colors I've got on it are 3721. I think these are the ones I've picked out that I'll use all through. 3721, 4066, 829, 209, and then I will probably use, what is that number? I may use I think it's 41. Now I can't find it. It's a variegated floss from BMC. I've buried it here in some of my junk for the rabbit, or I will probably use like maybe Wagon Wheel or La Tierra, maybe this one. These are a lot of the same colors I used in my spring ABCs. It's got a lot of gray and browns and different in it, so I will probably use it. I love this colorway when it came together for the spring ABCs. And then I added in the purple, the 209, which there's just a dab left of on here. You can barely see it. And y'all, that 209 is so old. Look at that thing. I must have cut my finger at some point when I was using it. These, I believe I did in 1986 when I started a birth piece for CJ, a little quilt thing. So yeah, those are that's how long your DMCs will last and hold their color. So, and thank you Smurfette for my scissors. I love those. They, I love that they just attach right on my ring. I can keep them with me all together, and that works out really, really great for me. So that's Easter Peak Parade and Breath of Spring I'm working on. And then I'm gonna show y'all this one. I haven't put, but maybe one more stitch in it since I showed it last. This, I've got to get, and I'm gonna show it to you so I can shame myself into working on it this week. It's hard for me because it is on linen and it's so floppy, but it is my Sal Stitch Along. May health and peace attend your days by My Lady's Needle. It is so, so pretty. We had to get together on Sunday. I didn't go. Mama had kind of a bad night, Friday night, and so sister had to teach Saturday morning. So the girls and I had the grandbabies, and they spent the night for the parents to have a date night. And we ran over there to visit with her for a while and play with her for a while and just check on her. So then I'd kind of been gone all day Saturday, and I just didn't think it was very fair to leave James Williams again on Sunday for the whole half a day. He wouldn't have said a word. He would have been very kind about it, but I just kind of felt kind of like I was there, and I was tired. I was stressed. When she has an episode, it stresses me out. And my sister, everything had been fine on Friday, and my sister got over there Saturday morning, and she was just wound up like an 8-day clock. And what she thought happened hadn't happened at all. And my sister had to kind of go back, no, Mom, remember yesterday, this is what we did, no, and try to, talk her through. And when she got done, she said, you're right, I remember that now, but it just seems so real. I don't know if she dreams it or what, but when she does it, it's very upsetting. And then, of course, when I talked to her that morning, she said, well, this is just going to make me crazy. And what do you say? I said, Mom, it's just, your brain is sick. It is what it is. Like some people's heart gets sick, or Daddy got the diabetes, he got the sugars, your brain is sick. That's just the way it is. So, so I don't know, I was just kind of wrung out. So I didn't go to my Stitch Along at the Stitch Niche, which made me kind of sad because I love going up there and hanging out with everybody and visiting with everybody, but I was just kind of done. And we literally stayed in all day. We did not go out at all. We were just in the house completely. So, yike. So I didn't get any haul since I didn't go anywhere, which, kind of makes me sad because I was wanting to be shopping. But I do have a finish. I did not fully finish it because I wanted to show y'all kind of how I was doing it. This is Spring ABCs by Little House Needleworks, and it is adorable. And it's stitched up really fast, and I'm gonna try to pull it way back here so y'all can see the whole thing. And then I'll try to get, there we go, up a little closer. I used a few of the call for colors, and then I switched the rest up. I did hide my initials and the year down here in the grass. I just added extra grass and put, so if you really look, you might can see my initials in the year 1/1. And there, when you're looking at it, you can find it, but it's pretty well hidden in there because there really wasn't, I didn't see a place that it wouldn't like take away from the whole design. But this one being so long, I was apprehensive about finishing it off. And so what I did was, and it's not on here straight yet, I went and had them cut me a piece of foam core at Hobby Lobby. It was like $4. Went and told her the measurements that I wanted. I think it's 4 by something. Let's see, what do we got here? 4 by 23.5. And so I can, then this will allow me to pull it this way and pull it this way and use my pins like I've got up here to get it centered, because getting something this big centered is gonna be a bit of a mess. I mean, it's gonna be hard for me because I want it to be pretty straight, and it's stitched pretty straight, but gluing I did not want to glue without being able to pin. So that was my thought, was I'll just get a big piece of foam core. That way I can kind of anchor it down and then wrap and glue while it's anchored with the pins. And so that way it will be where it needs to be. It'll stay where it needs to be while I finish it. And I wanted to show that because several of y'all said that you'd finished stitching them, but you hadn't finished them off. And I'm betting that's probably why, because it's gonna be tricky to get it done like that. So this is my solution, is to do it like this. And on 28 count, like I said, I worked on 28 count. The bottom, this big board is 4 by 23.5. I had her cut me another one just in case, because I couldn't decide how much it was gonna stretch. It's 3 by 22.5, and it's a little bit short. So that board is just gonna be saved for something else, because I couldn't tell how tight it was gonna pull. And it actually, the stitching on the 3 wraps under here. So both boards together were $7.50. So I'm figuring probably the big one was $4 and the other one was probably $3.50 or something, I don't know. And so, but that is my solution. So for y'all that haven't finished, take it in there and have them cut you a foam core board. And then you can just wrap it around after you get it centered good and glue it on the back just like you always do, or lace it, whichever you do. But the foam core is gonna allow me to pin in those sides and keep it held down while I center it, while I be sure it's centered on the front, because I don't want it too far one end, then too far the other end. That'll make me crazy. Things don't have to be perfect for me, but I like them to be pretty close. If I can look at it and eyeball, well, like when she brought the 2 boards out, she had them laying on top of each other. So let me see, I'm gonna grab this right here. So this board here was laying on top of this board, and she had it. And I said, ask her what she cut on, and she said, I said, do you mind remeasuring it, because I think that top one is a little bit off. And she said, well, no ma'am, I don't, but I cut them to what you said. And sure enough, when she measured, the top one was 1/8 of an inch off. So they will remeasure them again for you. And so just ask them to remeasure. It was just, her big cutter was broke and she was having to do it by hand. So she had got off 1/8 of an inch. But if you're stacking them on top of each other, which is what I thought I might do, if they were both right, I could stack them and put the trim on the bottom piece. If not, my big piece would work for my top piece. So have them remeasure it. They're really sweet about it. They don't mind doing it. They will not give you any grief about it at all. Now, but I love that stitch. I will now do the summer and the summer and the fall and the winter. I will do them all because it is so cute. It's stitched up maybe in 4 days, 3-4 days. I mean, it was like fast, super fast that I stitched it, because I started it on a Friday and it was crazy fast. Started on a Friday, I think, maybe not. Anyway, it stitched up crazy fast and I loved it, loved it, loved it. So here is that guy again. I loved him. I love the little bunnies. We have bunnies out in the yard all the time. Here and at the other house, they would come up on the patio, and here they even come up by the pool. I'm always afraid they're gonna fall in and I'll have a stroke if I go out there one morning and there's one drowned in the swimming pool. I had a little pet one when I was a kid, and it stayed in the house and went to the litter box, and then when we would be gone, we'd set it outside in its hutch, and the mower came and started up his mower, and it scared it to death because it was used to being inside. It had a heart attack. Isn't that awful? That's so sad. But their little hearts are just very fragile. When they get excited, they get really frantic. And so that was super sad, but he was so smart. He would go use the litter box, and he was so cute. But I've never got another one since then. So maybe someday. The girls keep telling me I need to get a pet, and I'm thinking I may be getting close to being ready. Up until now, anytime anybody mentioned Asa, my little puppy, I would that I had for 12 years, or I don't know, forever, 100 years, I would just go to bawling. James had mentioned something about him just in passing, and I just go to bawling. So I can talk about him without bawling now. So maybe I'm getting close. I don't know. Maybe I just think maybe I'm too old for pets, because if I lose them, I can't take it anymore. But this is winter chalkboard. It was our giveaway, and the winner of it is Gabri's Colorama. I hope I said that right. But Gabby, if you will send me a just send me a message and let me know how to get a hold of you for that. That will get that taken care of. And then my share this week is the spring ABCs. I'm finished with the spring ABCs here. So it's going to be my share this week. Here again, I just don't want to keep them in the house. I'm not going to restitch them. My kids don't stitch. There's no use saving these. And when I die, my kids are going to throw them in the trash. So I'm just going to share them, pass them on to somebody else who will love stitching them, who might get to know Little House, realize maybe you're new to stitching and realize they make great patterns, they make great designs. They're easy to read, easy to stitch. So there's no use in me keeping this, and there's no use in it getting thrown in the garbage. So I'm going to pass it on. If in the comments you will just make sure you use the word, let's do chocolate bunnies because of Easter. So say you either like chocolate bunnies or you don't like chocolate bunnies. I love chocolate bunnies. I love anything chocolate. Cadbury eggs. I have a sweet tooth. I don't like candy like Skittles or Starburst or any of that. That is not my gig. Anything with chocolate, we are talking. It's on. I love it. So tell me if you like chocolate bunnies or you don't like chocolate bunnies in the comments, and then that will be our share next week. Will be the spring ABCs chart, and I just I use a working copy, so it's not too very beat up. And then I just trash that. It's bad enough. I have to shred those papers. I just hate having so much paper, but I've tried stitching from my Kindle or my phone, and I can't. Anytime I touch a piece of technology, it just goes nuts. So I have bad tech juju. Anyway, so that is not work for me either. So I make a working copy so I can mark on it, because I like to mark my center, and then that way I can kind of count off. And then I take and put, let's see if this is the back. Okay, see how this has these on here, the symbols for the colors and stuff? On my working copy, I take and I make the symbols on the side with a marker, and then I write the number out to the side. That way I don't have to keep flipping back and forth between the chart and the color key, chart and the color key, anything like this. Because on a lot of patterns, you'll have some that'll be, there might be 2 or 3 browns, there might be 2 or 3 grays. And so I just write that out to the side. I don't want to write on the chart, especially since I'm going to pass it on. And I don't know why, even when I don't like writing on the chart. It's like writing in a book or something. Don't do that. I don't know why I was raised to think that was really, really bad. So tell me if you like chocolate bunnies or not, and we will get that headed out. Judy, yours is finally in the mail. Thank you for being patient with me. I finally made it to the post office yesterday, so it's on its way to you. The winter chalk full and the piece of Ada that I had in there is on its way to you. So you should be getting it one day this week. So until I see y'all next time, enjoy your stitches. Bye.